Okay, so it is 7 o'clock. I will call the select board meeting to order. If everyone wants to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remove their hats. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, welcome to the May 6th Select Board meeting. We have a couple of announcements this evening. The Gazebo Road Race is this Saturday. Register for the 5K today at tinyurl.com/Grafton Race. And there's information, no doubt, about that on the recreation page. Our annual town meeting will begin at 7 p.m. next Monday, May the 12th, at the high school auditorium. All registered voters are encouraged to attend. Boy Scout Troop 106 will host an electronics recycling event on Saturday, May 17th from 9 to 2 at St. Mary's Church. In addition to electronics, they'll also be accepting appliances, bikes, scrap metal, and clothing. So that's on the 17th. That's great. A lot of people have been asking about those things. Okay, moving along we have a public hearing relative to a Class 2 auto license for Signature Auto Sales at 21 Shrewsbury Street. So Mark, if you want to read the...
Yes, Madam Chair. The Select Board will hold a public hearing tonight, Tuesday, May 6, 2025, to hear citizen comments on the application by Elias R. Batista, Signature Auto Sales, for a Class 2 auto license at 21 Shrewsbury Street in North Grafton, Massachusetts. This meeting will begin now, 7 p.m. in Conference Room A of the Grafton Municipal Center, located at 30 Providence Road, Grafton, Massachusetts. Remote participation will be available on Zoom using webinar ID 823-1255-8075. Interested citizens are invited to attend this public hearing and offer comments in writing, in person, or via Zoom. Written comments must be received by noon on Thursday, May 1, 2025.
Okay, great. So I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
Motion to open the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And so the public hearing is open. Is there any discussion amongst the board relative to this? Is there someone here for this? Okay. Does the board want to have them come up and talk a little bit about it? Okay, you guys want to come on up?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So we have a lease agreement with Mr. L. Goslin, the owner of 21 Shrewsbury Street. And we're basically transferring the license from the previous owner to us, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully be doing business with the town.
Okay, great. Any questions from the board?
Any repairs or
No
service
repairs,
there? Okay, just
sales,
auto sales.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, we have an agreement with the garage that's going to be doing the service off-site. So
Okay.
Anything else from the board?
No, just good luck. There's
Thank
been a
you.
lot of there's been a lot of attempts there.
Yep.
And I think Al, started it, and he lasted quite a while. But since then, it's been a bit of a revolving door there. You never see a lot of activity there, so I hope.
we're hoping to stay.
Yeah, I hope you do well.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. If you're a new business in town, so we're going to be having our Economic Development Commission is hosting a Grafton kind of business networking night next Thursday, the 15th, at Reunion Tap and Table.
Oh, we went there.
Yeah.
From 5 to 8. There'll be some food there. I think Evan's sponsoring open bar, so right?
Whoa.
Right? No.
See you there. I'll be in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
funded by the town of Grafton.
Wait a second.
But there'll be a chance for you to meet some other businesses in
Great.
town and just meet some. There'll be some folks from the town side as well. So Hope you
That'd be
can
awesome.
stop
There.
by. Yeah.
Is that something we need to register for, or is it just kind of show up?
Talk to Will.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can send you the flyer tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so
So
much.
if you
Very
could
good.
register, we're trying to get a head count on it.
Sure.
But if you can't, just come anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else from the board? Thanks for
No,
that.
good luck.
Well, thank you.
Anything from the community? Anyone here to speak to this or anyone on Zoom? Okay, I don't see any, no hands or anything, Will?
Okay, Madam Chair,
Mr. Alamo?
I move the board vote to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So
Madam Chair?
congratulations. Yep. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yep, I
Yes.
move the board vote to approve a Class 2 license for Signature Auto Sales at 21 Shrewsbury Street.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Now I can say congratulations. Sorry.
Welcome.
I seem to always jump that. Welcome, thanks. And that's great information, Craig, to pass along too.
Thanks.
Okay, so moving along, we have a couple of appointments. We'll start with the IT committee. We have one applicant, Lucas Remillard, who I know is here this evening. If you want to just come on up and just tell us a little bit about you and why you might be interested in this role.
How you doing? Evening. My name is Lucas Remillard. So I'm interested in serving on the IT committee because I currently hold a Bachelor's of Science in Information Technology. My background is in logistics and military operations, which I believe gives me a very practical, solutions-focused approach to problem solving. And I also spend my free time doing IT research, learning how to apply it practically. I build custom high-end computers, so I understand software and the physical hardware. So it's very important to me to know these things. And I want to help the town come up with some very smart and forward-thinking IT solutions.
Fabulous, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair?
Mr. Alamo?
I also work for Raytheon, so
Yes.
that's not small potatoes in this conversation.
Yep.
So you build computers on the side, like Saturday
Yeah.
afternoon, that's your side hustle?
Yeah, I've built a dozen liquid-cooled computers. I've built some high-end custom ones with my daughter. She's 10.
That's awesome. I sit around and watch Netflix on the weekends. So
Yeah.
it's my area of expertise.
So, but I also still serve. I'm in the Army as well still. So I have 21 years, coming up on 22 years.
Yep, saw you this weekend. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Any other questions?
You beat me to it there, Lucas. Anyone else?
Sorry.
No, thank you so much for stepping up. We appreciate it.
No problem.
So barring no other further questions from the board, I'll accept a motion.
I'd like to move the board to vote to appoint Lucas Remillard to the IT committee.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thanks so much for stepping up. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Lucas.
Thank you, board. Have a good night.
Thanks. Certainly more qualified than I would ever be
No.
for the committee or for that. Okay, so moving along to Board of Registrars, we have 3 people who have put their name forward. We were told earlier that Joan was not going to be able to be here, and unfortunately, we don't have any information in our packet relative to her. So we have 2 candidates here, so we decided to go forward with it. So if, Rachel, if you want to come up and just tell us a little bit about yourself and why you might be interested in this role.
Good evening, and thanks for the opportunity to consider this. So I've lived in Grafton since 2016. I've lived in Massachusetts for almost 30 years now. I'm from New England, went to California for a little while, came back. And professionally, I'm an associate professor at UMass Medical School. So I teach, I do research, I have an administrative role there as well. So I think the only reason I bring that up is there's a skill set that, comfortable with data and spreadsheets, and the technical part of this, I think, would be, in my wheelhouse. And I just would like to, pay back to the town. I've really enjoyed living here. I've tried to be, somewhat civically active, and think supporting elections, having free and fair elections is incredibly important. And so, there needs to be some citizen involvement in that. So I'm happy to do it. If other people want to do it, that's fine too. But I just thought it was important to volunteer. So thanks for the consideration. I don't know if you have any questions.
Yeah, thanks. Does anyone on the board have any questions for Rachel or any comments?
Just thanks for stepping up. It is, citizen involvement in elections is critical. It's what makes it work, and so I appreciate you stepping up. Thank you.
Okay, and Dan? We have Dan Kusher also here.
Hey there, Dan Kusher. I just wanted to put my name in there. I think it's a very important board, very important work that the Board of Registrars does. It feels like every year it gets a little bit worse. The kind of culture of distrust of government, and so I think it's really important that, especially our elections, are something that people can really feel confident about. I think we're doing a pretty good job in Grafton. Nothing. I'm not criticizing anything there, but just continuing the transparency that we have, and just keep a good thing going.
Okay. Any comments or questions for Dan from the board?
I have one. Thank you. So, I don't know Miss Fallon, but I do know both Dan and Rachel, and I was happy to see both their names on the list. I think they're both people who are very qualified for this role. The question to you is, you are in the unique position, I think, to make the decision possibly a little bit easier for this board as well, because you currently serve on the Finance Committee. So what would your priority or preference be? If it came down to it, is this something where you'd prefer to be a registrar, or you would prefer to keep your role on the Finance Committee?
Yes, I just realized I forgot to mention that. So with the rules for Board of Registrars, you cannot be on any other committees in town. So I would have to leave the Affordable Housing Trust and the Finance Committee. They're both important things. I'd be happy to serve on either one. I think, it's great that we have Rachel stepping up too, and Joan. So it's, I guess I'll kind of, leave it to you guys, but it'd be more things to fill if you appoint me, but I'd be happy to do either one.
Thanks.
Okay. Any other discussion from the board? Would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Rachel Gerstein to the Board of Registrars.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Dan, it's not because you're qualified, but I really enjoy the work that you do on both Finance Committee as well as the Affordable Housing Trust, so it's my preference to keep where you're at. And, since we have another candidate, thanks for bringing that up.
Any other discussion?
No, go ahead.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
I guess I have a question for Dan. If you knew you were gonna, have to come off of those other committees, why did you put your name forward, I guess, for this? If you know.
It's I just feel that the making sure that our elections are strong and have the credibility with voters is just a really important thing. Finance Committee is also a really important thing. It's just it was an opportunity to do something different, do something new. So thought I'd just put my name in.
Okay.
I think the key is you were willing to come off of those, so it wouldn't have mattered, either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll make a motion to appoint Dan Krisher.
We already did.
I thought it was just Rachel.
No, we only have one.
Oh, there's only one.
Yes, so there's only one spot.
Oh, it's all right. My apologies. All
That's
right.
okay.
Okay.
Yep, so it's
I
just,
thought this was. I was thinking of election workers. So. my
yep,
bad.
yep. And it wasn't on here that it was just one position, but it was just one opening.
Oh, okay.
It's filling
Sorry, Dan.
Dan's. Okay, moving along to any appointments from town administrator?
We have done.
None. Okay, so new business, We have some alcoholic beverage licenses. The first few relate to the Grafton Farmers Market. So we'll start with the Ragged Hill Cider Company. I believe someone is here from the cider company. Is it Ann?
Yes, good evening. So I'm Steve Garwood.
Okay.
I see my caption says Ann Garwood Hampton. Ann is my daughter,
Okay.
and Ann and I are partners in Ragged Hill Cider Company. We live in West Brookfield, and we were vendors at the Grafton Farmers Market last year, and it was very successful for us. So we would like permission to come back this year.
Okay, great. Any questions? I'm sorry, what was your first name again?
Steve.
Steve. Any questions for Steve?
Just a
Go
comment.
ahead.
Glad the farmers market was a productive outreach for you last year, and thanks for coming back.
Thank you for letting us.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? We'll go ahead and take a motion.
Madam Chair, I move the board vote to approve a license for Ragged Hill Cider Company to sell at the Grafton Farmers Market in 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. So great, welcome back,
Thank you.
and thanks for coming in. And the next one, there's a lot of information on each of these in our packet, but moving along to Bliss Point Meadery. And is it Jeff?
Yes, this is Jeff Venuti. I'm the owner of Bliss Point Meadery. We are a new vendor at the Grafton Farmers Market. However, this will be our fourth year doing farmers markets. We are in 30 other communities, so we have a lot of experience bringing a very new product like mead to a lot of communities, and we've been really well received. And we'd like to bring our mead to Grafton at the farmers market.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments?
I
Go
have a
ahead.
question, Madam Chair. I'm not being silly. What is mead?
Yeah, so
Glad you asked.
you are like 95% of the rest of our customers who ask
Thank
us that same question. So mead is alcohol made from honey. Instead of fermenting the sugar in grapes to make wine, we ferment the sugar in honey to make mead. That's a fundamental difference, is what that basic sugar source is that produces the alcohol.
Honey comes from bees.
Okay. Hi.
And Craig and I have been.
Did I say esteemed earlier? I don't know if I meant that fully. What does it taste like? Honey?
Some of it tastes like honey. Others taste like a combination of the honey and the fruit that we use, or the honey and the spices that we use. I mean, we have a raspberry chili pepper if you want to come by and try that too.
Wow.
So the good news is if we approve this, you'll get to find out this
Yes.
every
Okay.
Wednesday.
I'd like to make a motion.
Any further discussion or questions? Okay, go ahead, Mr. Oh, go
No,
ahead.
go
Yeah.
ahead. It's fine. I was just gonna thank you for filling a mead in Grafton. Bad pun.
I think Madam Chair,
Yes, Mr. Alamo.
I move the board vote to approve a license for Bliss Point Meadery to sell at the Grafton Farmers Market in 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. Welcome.
All right, thank you to the board.
Thank you. Okay, moving along to the Spicy Water Distillery. And are you ready with your question, Mark?
Let's see.
Is this Barry?
Good evening.
Hi,
Thank you very much for inviting us here. I mean me. We're a Spicy Water Distillery located right up the road in Millbury, Mass. We've been open for just about 2 1/3 years now. I've met people like Jeff and Brian Goodman along the way. A great relationship so far. So what we produce are spirits. We have vodka, flavored vodkas like our habanero vodka and blueberry lemon coming out during the summer. We also have limoncello, which won silver medal in an international competition. Very proud of that one. We also have a cream limoncello, which has actually been circulating in the news recently, the no strings attached limoncello, made by a couple of women who were retired with the school teachers and came to me with the idea. I said, great, let's make it. Then we also have rum, we have flavored rums, we have mixed cocktails in a jar. Those will be a little bit later on, like a limoncello bourbon. We also have our bourbon, and we'll be making a few other things throughout the year, but not everything's going to be available at each market. But yes, thank you very much for giving us an opportunity to to come to Grafton. We have a lot of friends in the area and patrons that have come over the last few years and would love to bring it right here into the farmer market.
That's great. Thank you. Mr. Alamo.
So I have been to your place a few times.
Oh, thank you.
It's kind of a unique business, in my opinion. Usually you see a lot of breweries and things like that, or bars or pubs or whatever, and you don't sell any beer. I guess my question would be, how is business?
Business actually has been very good. It's been growing, actually. There's a lot of new opportunities for us coming over the next few months. Just kind of some special projects. And once we have them all, kind of nailed down, we can announce more of them. But in general, what's been working really well for us is the fact that we make a variety of different spirits. So, people who love the vodka or the gin, they have their style. Then people who like the aged spirits, we have aged rum, bourbon, things like that. Limoncellos helps. And I was going to say, going forward, you're going to see a lot more things. Brian and I have a few things worked out too.
And some live music too?
Yeah.
Still? Yep. Cool. Great.
Anything else from the board?
Just quickly, Madam Chair.
Sure.
So doesn't sound like it's really in your wheelhouse right now, but for those of us that don't drink, it would be great to have non-alcoholic options for some of the things. I know some of the liquor stores have non-alcoholic spirits.
Yep.
So just put that on the list of ways to expand the business.
We're actually in about 50 different stores and restaurants right now around the state. Most of them in this area, and then several down on the Cape. So we're getting there, and we're going to be expanding more and more over the next few years. I'm very happy about that.
Thanks.
And thank you.
Okay. I will accept a motion.
I move the board vote to approve a license for Spicy Water Distillery to sell at the Grafton Farmers Market in 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. So welcome Spicy Water also to the farmers market. Anyone who was here earlier for another agenda item, don't feel that you have to stay, by the way. Welcome to stay. I just wanted to throw that out there. Moving along to Rushford and Sons Brew House.
Brian.
Brian, thank you. Hi, Brian. Oh,
Yeah, hello, right here. Good to see you all.
You too.
And actually, I do have to admit, maybe this isn't the best time to admit I am actually enjoying a very low test cocktail made with spicy water limoncello right now. It is,
Awesome.
I can with personal experience, highly suggest the product. And yeah, we would like. Thankfully, as of last fall, the farmers market's provisions to allow wineries to provide small samples and sell off-premises product has been afforded now to both distilleries and breweries. So, like everyone else before us, we would like to sell 4-packs to go at the Grafton Farmers Market.
Great. Any questions or comments from the board? Go ahead.
Farmers market's going to be lit this year. This is going to be.
There's some wonderful artisans making wonderful products here in Massachusetts, and having sampled most of them, very excited about the meat. I'm a big fermented honey fan. I feel like you get a depth of flavor, not just sweetness, from a lot of mead. But again, I don't know how much time the select board has me to go on the nuances of great mead, but probably not as much time for everybody else behind us. Anyway, yeah, farmers market, please. Thank you.
If we had a few drinks, we could probably sit and talk about it. But I mean,
I need
we're
some
not.
free
We're at a little
samples.
bit of a disadvantage here.
Mr. Davenant, you want to remind him about the EDC event? Maybe you could, swing by with a few.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. Well, hopefully Reunion's going to have some booze there. But, yeah.
I think it's great. It seems like you all are familiar with each other's work too. So
Love it.
Glad to have you at the farmers market. Okay, barring any other discussion, I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move the board to vote to approve a license for Rushford and Sons Brew House to sell at the Grafton Farmers Market in 2025.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So welcome all 4 of you to the Grafton Farmers Market this year.
As always, upbeat.
Thank you. By the way, if I may, before I sign off, we are happy to host at the Willard House and Talk Museum the second annual Grafton Beer Fest a week from Saturday on May 17th. Tickets are still available. Just throwing that out there as well. All proceeds are going to the Willard House and Talk Museum, which I think I have a I don't think I have to make a compelling argument about how amazing that place is. So
Yep.
regardless, thank you everybody so much as always. Have a lovely evening. Take care.
Thanks, Brian.
I think there's two times
two
for
to
that
seven,
too.
right?
It's like I think it's 2 to
It's
5 and
yeah.
5 to 7, 2 to 4 and 5 to
You
7.
need tickets for that? Or
Yeah.
You do, yeah. There's 2 sessions.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go on the Willard
okay.
Museum website and it's there. Moving along to food truck licenses, we have Donut Envy, very clever name. Who do we have here for that?
We have
Sean?
Tia on Zoom, I believe.
Okay.
I'm for
Oh,
Yeoman's Ice Cream, not Donut Envy.
Yeah, it's Sean, maybe. He'll be here in person. Nobody on Zoom. Okay. Everything is in order in terms of your perspective?
Yes, and we did meet with the owner last week and just talked through the procedure of if they're not going to be on school department property or private property, that they have to notify us where they plan to be, and we can approve that through the town administrator's office via the police department, fire department, just making sure everybody's informed.
Okay.
Where is this planned to be parked?
It's like a blanket is what we're trying to do here. So they will be at the lacrosse games over the summer. But if they do want to pick up something else, they'll reach out to us and get approval for a different location.
Cool.
Okay. Any questions for Evan on this or any questions relative to what's in our packet? Okay, we'll go ahead and take a motion.
Madam Chair, I move the board vote to approve a food truck license for Donut Envy.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And now, Tia, we can move along to your request
Now we're
relative
talking.
to Ullman's, the ice cream truck.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah, just tell us a little bit about what you guys are planning.
So as of right now, we just we don't do the farmers markets or anything. We do have people reach out throughout the year to have us at their festivals. Like, there's like a lacrosse game or tournament going on Mother's Day. So they'd like to have us there. And then for some reason in Grafton, that's like the only town we work with where people don't reach out like super far in advance. So I don't really have anything else on the calendar as of right now, but we do typically do like 3 to 5 events a year in Grafton. I think we did something with like a Halloween event at the end of the year last year. So we just kind of do a few things here and there with Grafton.
Okay. Any questions for Tia from the board?
So just a license for your truck to just come once in a while, every Saturday? What's that?
More like once in a while. Unfortunately, it's not anything super consistent. I feel like people reach out like 3 to 4 weeks in advance whenever they have something for us in Grafton.
So kind of as needed.
Because I mean, it's a great product.
They'll market. Yeah. It's,
It is. Do you have like an Instagram page or anything like that you do like, hey, we're like a pop-up?
Yeah, we have our Instagram's Yeoman's Ice Cream, and we have the brick and mortar shop in Westboro as well. We do quite a bit of events around Massachusetts, a lot in like Shrewsbury, Worcester, Boston.
okay.
Great.
I will take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Mr. L.
I move the board vote to approve a food truck license for Yeoman's Ice Cream.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thanks for coming in, Tia. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Okay, so we have a couple of one day beer and wine license for Tufts University. And we have Jessica here.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Good. I would like to step in and say that Tufts uses Juniper Farms all the time. So
There you go. Great.
it's usually us calling for a week in advance. So thank you.
Great.
Yes, we have 2 alcohol permits, 1 wine and beer, 1 all alcohol. They are for a professorship event, changing over from one professor to another, and then the graduating Phi Zeta Honor Society reception on 5/9 and 5/14. Both have police details, and Elms Cafe is the servers, and the tips information is on file.
Okay, great, thank you. Any questions from the board? Okay, we'll take a motion then.
Madam Chair, I move the board vote to approve a one-day beer and wine license on Friday, May 9th, and a one-day all alcohol license on Wednesday, May 14th, for the Cummings School of Veterinary Medicine at Tufts University.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, and then moving on to the one-day beer and wine license at the VFW at 25 Main Street. Do we have anyone here for that? Barry. No, that's Spicy Water. Are we expecting anyone?
From the VFW?
Yeah?
No.
Okay. So we have information in the packet. This is relative to a scholarship event that they have. I believe it's Memorial Day. Yep.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Anything from the board?
Why do they need a license?
Because
they're serving the public other than
Yes.
members?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, Madam Chair,
Mr. Alamo.
I move the board vote to approve a one-day beer and wine license on Sunday, May 25th, for the VFW Post 1497.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. And so that we are all done with all those, moving on to right of first refusal for 4 Canton Court, Unit 27. And do you want to give us any information, Mr. Broussard, or we just?
It's pretty
we kind of
straightforward.
talked about this,
Kind of
yeah.
something the board does with some regularity whenever you're selling a 40B property. Yeah, the town has a right of first refusal on said property. We reached out to EOHLC and got the proper paperwork that we were missing at our last meeting. And that's pretty much it. I don't see any reason for the town to purchase the home.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, barring none, I will take a motion.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Alamo.
I move the board vote to not purchase the affordable residential unit at 4 Canton Court, Unit 27.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. The intermunicipal agreement with the town of Shrewsbury, relative to stormwater coalition, I should say.
Yep, so this is a continuing project that we've been doing for a number of years. This is with the town of Shrewsbury, where we enter into this IMA for the Central Massachusetts Stormwater Coalition. It's essentially just us pooling our resources to get better pricing as we go through the MS4 stormwater compliance process.
Okay, any questions for Evan on that? Okay, go ahead and take a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, I move the board vote to approve and sign the intermunicipal agreement with the town of Shrewsbury for participation in the Central Massachusetts Regional Stormwater Coalition through fiscal year 2030.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. And so moving along to the consideration to vote to leave the Worcester Regional Health Alliance.
Yeah, so we've been talking about this off and on for the past maybe 3 or 4 months. We've had many meetings with the city of Worcester, their staff, as well as the towns of Shrewsbury and West Boylston. We did have a meeting with Worcester, Shrewsbury, West Boylston, Grafton, and Department of Public Health for the state of Massachusetts, in which essentially all 3 town administrators / managers talked about some of the challenges, and it became evident that it's probably time for us to leave the Worcester Health Alliance and form our own group. Shrewsbury and West Boylston have already voted to do so at the select board level. We have not, just because of the schedule. They had a meeting last week and we didn't. So at this point, given that they've already voted, even if Grafton said I want to stay, that's not really an option. So we have been in talks with the town of Shrewsbury to set up our own regional system We have been talking to the Department of Public Health and are currently writing a public health excellence grant. And we do believe that we'll be able to continue the same mission, the same quality of service that we've been getting for the last decade or so, within the same budget that we've been operating. So it looks like it'll be, at least to start, Shrewsbury, Grafton, and West Boylston. But more to come on that as we draft the intermunicipal agreement to enter into that agreement.
Okay.
So
Questions? Go ahead, Craig.
Yeah, just so back when we first got in the alliance, there was 5, 6 communities.
I think there was 14.
Was that many? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Worcester was obviously kind of the mothership.
Yep.
Of that, and they had a lot of work, and so how are we gonna manage if it's just us in Shrewsbury and West Boylston, say, to be able to staff and have the variety of services that office provides, from food inspection to Title V inspections. How are we going to be able to manage a staff, and how is that all going to work? I mean, I know it's probably figuring that out, right?
Yeah, we're working on it, but in general, in the post-pandemic, I don't think we've got the services that we were getting during the pandemic. It was a good thing for us to be attached to Worcester during that time, because they did have, epidemiology and nursing and doctors on staff and all of those things. We have since, learning about our, this program coming to an end, we have been working to look at alternatives, and we do think we've identified ways to consistently have epidemiology, nursing, a nurse to be able to come in and continue to do the work they do in the senior centers, Title V inspection, health inspector, food inspection, tobacco inspection, all of those things under the current umbrella that we already have. And when the Alliance was set up, the Public Health Excellence Grant was a way for the state to drive regionalization. But you needed, say, I think it was 5 or 7 communities at minimum to be able to be eligible for this grant. That has since changed, and now the 3 cities in Massachusetts are able to apply for them on their own. And then they also augmented it to make it so you only need 2 towns to get a Public Health Excellence Award. So the state kind of shifted their model, seeing that the other regionals weren't working super well either, when they were small rural communities tied to big cities that are having totally different issues in the community. We do a lot of food inspection, we do a lot of Title V, we have some hoarding, some public health stuff, obviously, where Worcester's dealing with a lot of drug abuse, a lot of homelessness, a lot of more crime than we see here. So the model just kind of diverged. So there are people that do epidemiology and public health nursing that find themselves split between multiple towns, because our regional will want this service and the other town wants a service, and we kind of split the cost. So we're working on that, and I think we'll be able to do it, honestly.
With any concerns with it just being 3 towns, though? I mean, you said the cost should be the same or close.
Right, and that's essentially because the money that the state is willing to put towards the project really makes up that delta.
Subsidize it.
Absolutely. Right. So we'll be able to, once the grant is awarded, we'll be able to make that final number public. We'll be able to show the breakdown of the budget. And we have had talks already that there are other communities around that are interested in regionalizing, that just weren't interested in regionalizing with Worcester.
So like Millbury, Sutton, Upton, I mean, they're doing their own thing. They're
doing their own thing, but we'll be actively communicating with them.
Okay, just one last thing. So that's obviously this is our decision, right? We decide how that goes, but I think at some point we should talk to the Board of Health, and get their input. And I mean, I don't know if you've been communicating with.
Yeah, I did have a meeting with Jennifer Mader, their chair.
Yeah.
We talked through this, and I did have a conversation with a couple other members, not in as formal of a way,
Right.
but everyone saw the writing on the wall. I mean, this has been coming, and the services we were being provided were dwindling. So, part of the problem being attached to Worcester is that when Worcester has staffing issues, we have staffing issues that are out of our control.
Right.
We also don't generally have a seat at the table when you're trying to hire, which is problematic for us because they're going to be working in our community. So, these are the rubs that have been happening pretty much since I got here. And so, long story short, the Board of Health is aware. I do plan to go to their next meeting and give them an update.
Yeah.
But they're aware that this is the conversation that's been
All right.
being had.
I think it would be great to have them in. I mean, obviously Nancy's been there forever. Karen's been there forever. That'd be good to hear.
Yep.
They live it.
Yep.
You know
Absolutely.
what I mean, you manage it, but they live it every
Yeah.
day.
Absolutely.
So,
No, I
so
agree.
I think it'd be
I agree.
great to have them come in and make them a part of it.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the board? Go ahead.
So, can you speak to the grant a little bit more? I'm assuming that's something we'll have to apply for annually, but we can expect, similar funding each year, that type of thing.
Yep. So that's really how the Public Health Excellence Grant has been structured over the past, like I said, decade. So we have already had preliminary conversations with Department of Public Health. The first grant cycle is a 2-year cycle, so we're guaranteed that award amount for the first 2 years. They're not going to go on record and say you'll get this forever. I mean, they're not. But if you look at the trend and how they've operated with these public health funds, the money has been there and been consistently there. And I think if we're able to onboard some other communities, that will just help, solidify it. But they are very much very much in support of our move. So I think they have a vested interest in making sure that this is successful as well.
Okay, thanks.
Evan, can you just talk a little bit about the transition period? So as we exit this agreement and put together another agreement with a couple of the other towns looking to recruit and whatnot.
Yep. So the IMA process is pretty straightforward because in order to get the Public Health Excellence Grant, you have to have a certain IMA that the state gives you. It's pretty much like every other.
So
IMA.
they've got a template then.
They do.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So we're just ironing out a couple of small details there, but then we'll be pretty much off to the races because our services end with the city of Worcester June 30th.
Okay. So we're gonna get a move on that.
Yep.
Yep.
And so we've already started collecting job descriptions and job titles and everything else we need, and started to reach out to different towns that are already doing something similar. Luckily, we do have very deep connections with she's the town manager of Millbury, Karen Clark. She used to be the director of public health for Worcester, so we've known her for a long time. So we've picked her brain on what do we need to do to make sure we don't drop the ball here in some way. And she's been a great resource, but Worcester has been as well. Very nice folks there, so we don't have this weird animosity. It's been an open
Yeah, no, it's
conversation.
good. Just
so.
want to make sure we don't have any gap in services. So.
Well, that's the goal, is to not. So as we go, I'm sure we'll drop the ball a couple of times, but we'll figure it out and pick it up. So not to the detriment of any residents, but just as far as we should be doing this policy or this procedure, or we're missing this part of the scope. So we'll get
Are there other regional setups, organizations that you guys are modeling yourself after, or that you can use as like a reference model to just drop fewer of those balls?
yeah, and I don't mean to.
I know
like,
what you're saying.
There's
going to be some teeth in pants.
Yes, I'm
is
just
what I mean.
tamping down the expectations of
Sure.
no. So we are looking at other regional models. There's a couple North Shore area models. there's a couple of Western Mass models, but they don't. I don't think that they personally fit. They're all really small towns that kind of got together, and it's just going to be a different feel, right? But no, there are models that we can look at. It's just like when we're doing regional dispatch. There's people that out there that we're gonna take as much of their work as we possibly can and implement it here, so we don't reinvent the wheel. And I mean, it's a short turnaround, but I think we'll, we're all dedicated to getting it done. So.
Okay.
Anything else from the board? I just had a question. I'm curious. You kind of alluded to it, I suppose, but like, so there was a push for regionalization, and then that just didn't work. for
Yeah,
many,
I
and
think
was it tied mostly to
Yeah, from the conversations that I've had is that there was an original idea and philosophy around how they would regionalize public health, and it just didn't work the way that they had envisioned it, pairing smaller rural communities with larger cities, because the cities have the depth of talent, right? They've got
Right.
a deep bench and you can move people around, and that's great because the small towns don't have that. But I think ultimately the problem was the disparities between the issues in public health that they face and the issues in public health that we face.
So a fair amount of it like surrounded larger cities, and then
Right.
just us
So when they're doing a big initiative on homelessness, it's not that we don't have any homelessness, but we don't have the homelessness problem that Worcester has.
Yeah, yeah.
We have substance abuse problems here for sure. They're different than the ones that are being handled in
Sure,
Worcester.
no, understood. I'm just curious, like where the disconnect was, and it was primarily that so many towns were
Yeah, and it's
surrounded
been
a large city. And
and I think that it's been over 10 years. So as the years went on and people separated off, I mean, I think some of that is probably local politics, some of that is personality stuff. But by and large, it became evident that's not the way that this model operates. And I think that it's telling because the state changed their entire public health excellence process to kind of better align with what we're thinking.
Okay, thanks. All right, I'll accept a motion.
Madam Chair, I move the board vote to withdraw from the Worcester Regional Health Alliance.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Thanks, Evan, for the conversation and clearing up everything for us.
Absolutely.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay, moving along to select board reports. Anybody have any select board reports?
I'll just say it again. The EDC is hosting their annual Grafton Business Networking event for local businesses to go and interact with each other and with some people on the town side and some local elected officials. Hopefully Senator Moore and Representative Meridian will be able to be there, and it's just a night to be together. It's going to be at Reunion Tap and Table Thursday, May 15th, from 5 to 8. If you have any questions, I would suggest they reach out to William Blake, the town administrator's office. So I think last year was a success, so we're hoping this year it will be. Please sign up if you do get the flyer. We've been emailing flyers. We've been dropping them at business doorsteps for the last couple of weeks. So hopefully people will be able to make it.
Yeah,
Chair?
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
Mr. Dauphiné, is that 5 to 8, did you say? Or I have it 6 to 8 in my calendar.
I think it's 5 to 8 is what I have written down. But
5:30 to 8.
there you go.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Blake.
5:30.
Yep.
Make it so none of us are right. Somebody asked me on the common the other day about how the word was getting out. I pointed them toward the EDC page potentially, and this person, I think you had gone by, but so basically kind of it's on social media. Is it on our webpage too?
Yep. So it's on the EDC webpage.
Perfect.
They can sign up there. There's also a link if they can't make it for them to communicate with the EDC about what they're looking for, what they could use from the town.
Okay.
So it's all online.
Yeah. Could we do one thing while we're talking about it, William? Could you send another email out like early next week, Monday or Tuesday, to all just to remind them, because people need reminders and we're not getting a lot of response, so it's worth, if you can send out another mass email, that might get some more folks to.
And actually, that was the question. Sorry, now I'm thinking. she was asking, you know, where do you get is there a list of all the businesses? And so obviously if the town has something like that, and you guys have contacts.
Yep, there's
Yeah.
the business registry also on the EDC page.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's 55 businesses on there.
Yeah.
We reached out to them via email, and then we got the DBA list to the clerk's office and dropped them off in person.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thanks.
And it's gonna be in their room to the left of the main dining area. They have a private room in there. That's where we're gonna host the event.
Okay, anyone else? Go ahead.
I want to just thank the Girl Scouts again, who invited us to judge their girl powered derby cars. We had to look at well over 60 entries. It took a decent amount of time because there were just some amazing cars in there. Again, really talented kids. The Water District also had its commissioner elections and annual meeting a couple weeks ago on the 29th. The annual meeting articles were largely standard appropriations and transfers, like we do in our special town meeting. Nothing terribly exciting, but keeping everybody updated.
Okay, anyone else? On Saturday, a couple of us attended the memorial, or the unveiling of the tombstone and marker at Pine Grove Cemetery, and being on the trustees of the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial. I was part of that event, and thanks goes out to many folks, including the Veterans Administration Group, Andrew, his last name?
Schoenberg.
Thank you. And just it was a great day, and the weather was great, so that was nice. And then a couple of weekends ago, I think Sustainable Grafton, which is an ad hoc group, hosted a super successful Earth Day event on the Common, and it was very well attended. Lots of different vendors, and at one point there were 2 alpacas heading down to the Grafton Country Store, and there was a duck walking around and an owl, and it was awesome. So shout out to the Sustainable Grafton Committee, who continues to do great work. Okay, moving along to the Town Administrator's Report.
All right. So before we get started, we do have a composter program going on right now. So these are backyard composters. You can purchase them through the town administrator's office for a reduced price of $25. William has been the official loader of these things into people's cars. How many have we sold so far?
35 of the 40 we've ordered.
Oh, great.
Yep.
I still have to bring you the one that I borrowed.
Yep, and we do plan to restock after all of the 40 are spoken for. So it will come back eventually. And I think we determined Compost Czar was the title, not Compost Loader.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I like the alliteration.
Noted. I think I'll take that on too.
Okay, anyways, I'm going to move on. Millbury Street, these are DPW projects. Millbury Street sidewalks, we did get a tentative restart date of 5/19. These were, the next 3 projects are all 5/19, so about 2 weeks from today. That's North Street sidewalk and Depot Street Bridge. We anticipate closure that week of May 19th. We will have more as soon as we get the official notice. That's our kind of good faith estimate, noticing how much equipment is already on site. So that we feel they're about 2 weeks out. You will see people on Millbury Street sidewalks and North Street sidewalks. They have been doing some, pre-construction work and touching some stuff up, getting ready to go. But the week of 5/19 is when you should see that happening in earnest. Route 140 continues to not be paved. It is milled. And they are doing some sidewalk work by Cumberland Farms and in that area over there.
Station 1, yeah.
Station 1. It looks like that's going to be really nice, and so they had originally told us that paving should start in the middle of May. So we haven't heard anything that would lead us to believe otherwise. And Fitzpatrick Road Bridge. As I said in the last meeting, we aren't going to do the work until summer. But we do know that they are currently working on getting our precast culvert formed and then brought on. They'll bring it on site when it's time. George Hill Road update. The only update I have is that as of last night, the planning board approved our scenic road permit. So now it is on to the final documentation as far as the bidding process goes, and we'll be able to put that out. We're still on target for June, so that was good to get through that process.
Losing the season.
Yep.
I actually bumped into somebody today who lives up there, and they called me actually a few weeks ago with concerns about some of that road is becoming, it's passable, but not by two cars at the same time. The
Right.
road is, with all this rain, it's really pumping and washing and breaking, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. But
We have been up there doing some. We've been patching and filling holes, not to the same degree we would on a road that we know is going to last forever. We have been filling in shoulders. I know I went up there, went through there about 3 weeks ago, and then asked Highway to go up and they re-rip wrap the country drainage a little bit to try to hold it together. But yeah, it's a tough spot to be in, trying to get this off the ground.
so they won't see paving until 26 probably.
Probably, yeah. They have a ton of site work to do with that drainage up there.
Yeah.
Just all ledge, and so
It's like a waterfall up there.
it's unbelievable the amount of water that comes off of that hill.
Just quickly, is this information on the website now?
So it is not in a very good spot. So we are, all of the information related to George Hilbert Road and every process is on the website, but it's in like 6 different spots. So we're creating a new landing page for George Hill Road that'll direct people just straight to all of the different
Okay.
components, and we're going to try to section that by newest material first, but then we'll have an archive on there as well
And,
by the end of the week.
oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep. I started collating all of the data last week, but I just ran out of time.
Okay. Okay, good to know.
Madam Chair.
Mhm.
Yeah, through you. It sounds like many of us have had conversations with folks up on that road, with similar concerns. I'm glad that we're getting the information organized. The sort of takeaway that I had was, this is a fairly large spend project. We bonded several $1 million for this. We do have a lot of residents that are impacted, and for any project like this, it would be good as you guys think about putting together the materials and organizing them. If we can just have that be the standard for any project like that, that just be the standard organization for things, so that people start to get a familiarity with where to find things when they're interested in high-vis projects like this. 1727 sort of suffered from the same thing. Tons of documents, but they were kind of all over the place and difficult for residents to find. What we talked about with 1727, which also applies here, is we'll do this stuff retroactively, and that's great. But we need to be thinking about what's the next George Hill Road that we need to, from the day one, think about organizing those sort of artifacts so that people can see key decisions that were made, changes in scope that happened, because that stuff is going to happen for every larger project like this. It's just, how do we position the town so that as somebody who's new to the project or just becomes interested in it for whatever reason wants to come up to speed. Yeah, I'd encourage you guys to just think about, as you organize that, think about that as a template for whatever the next project is like this.
Yep.
Because it's we're going to keep running into this, and we have all the information. It's just, it's so much easier if you organize it from the beginning than to have to do it retroactively.
Yeah, what we will likely wind up doing is having these things need to have their own landing page, but the problem is they also exist elsewhere.
Yep.
So like, because of the way it's advertised, the planning board has it on the planning board page, and the conservation commission has it on the conservation page, and there's no way to funnel the data without manually doing it.
Yep.
And we've missed that boat multiple times. So I take your point, and we'll work on that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yep, go ahead.
One more. Again, having a similar discussion. think you know, you do a great job of keeping the board updated, and you know, unfortunately, residents don't tune into all of our meetings, and you know, TA report tends to be at the end. As it's been a few years since we did the initial outreach, it might also be an idea to, you know, hold another George Hill specific outreach session somewhere, catch everybody up on, you know, everything that you're loading to the website, everything that we've talked about to date. Just, you know, so we have I guess a more central location where they can come out, ask questions, and, you know, have the direct exchange rather than. I mean, we're gonna, you know, obviously need to update the website as well, but yeah, just give them the opportunity to come in and talk about it.
Yeah, we, Paul and I did have a conversation about doing another public outreach after the bid is awarded, so that we know who the developers or the contractor is going to be, and you know, we have some kind of security as far as here's the timeline we can now expect, and here's how we're going to roll it out. So, but yes, I take your point as well. A little bit better than Matt's point. No, just kidding. And we'll make that happen.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Right after the contract's awarded. Please get me off that page, Will. Thank you.
I tried, but Andy just kept going.
All right. So paving. We've talked about this a couple times now. We have completed Cold Spring, Nichols, Gary Circle, Cedar Hill, Barbara Jean, and Maple Ave. Those were all ground while they were here grinding 140. We've since paved them. You will not see more paving, more grinding start until after school is out. So we just took advantage of an opportunity to get these banged out. All right, Metro West Regional.
Before we move on to that, is there an update on the sidewalk plan?
I don't have one for you, but I will get one for the next meeting.
Great, thanks.
We completed our second round interviews. We selected a candidate. We have a offer letter that, sorry, man, that was a weird place to pause. We have an offer letter that has been signed. And so now we're just going through the background process, and I think that'll be done probably end of this week, next week at the latest. And we're very excited to get the gentleman on board and take some of this off our plate. And we'll we've already spoken to him about once he gets situated to have him come and do a little bit of a road show and go to all three boards and you know have you be able to meet him. So really looking forward to completing that.
That's excellent news.
Yeah, we're excited.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Other updates, grants stay where they were a month ago, which is $2.4 million so far this year. Town meeting update, our motion packet is completed. We just got that back from council today, and that went out to all of you this afternoon. We are finalizing all of their other materials, the PowerPoint, the clicker PowerPoint that goes along with all that, and doing our testing and all the things we normally do. We also are going to be issuing an amendment packet, which is a way of doing amendments. So you can either amend things from the floor, or since here the board makes all of the motions, we can issue an amendment packet ahead of time. And so what this packet will be is there's going to be 3 separate amendments. The first one will be amending the budget to reflect the increase in Chapter 70 aid that we can anticipate, which is roughly $273,000 currently. So that'll change the school line and the bottom line, right? So pretty straightforward. We do have that one tweak that needs to be made to the capital plan, and that was the fire truck lease kind of conundrum we had at the very last minute. And then there's going to be one that has to do with tool sheds and the definition of what can go in a tool shed. It's one sentence. It has been a lot of conversation for one sentence.
I'm going to run that back, the video of it.
That's okay. I got it though. Okay. And remember, I think I say in the meeting, I think I'm going to win. I did win. So, no. So we had a lot of different discussion. The idea is, and I'll just real brief. we're creating a definition of a tool shed, because what some folks have done is gotten a shed delivered to their property and then attach it to the house and use it like a garage, which causes a lot of issues as far as fire separation and what you're storing in an outdoor shed, all these other things. So we wanted to create an identification for a tool shed. But then we started to see what other towns have done and where the other problems lie of people getting a tool shed and then parking their cars in there and using it as a garage. So it cuts the other way. Same. So what we wanted to do is just define what can and cannot be in there. And so it's essentially, what we're essentially trying to do is make it so it's a tool shed is something you keep things in that aren't a car or a truck or a van or whatever it is. And so what we wound up doing is we're going to define basically an automobile as any vehicle that is over 3,000 GVW, gross vehicle weight. That's the same standard the state of Massachusetts uses to determine whether or not you need to be registered. So it seems pretty straightforward. But that gets us around the issue of somebody's got a motorcycle they want to store in their shed, you know, or a lawnmower or a four-wheeler. Right? That's not the intent here. The intent is to just make sure that we're not calling a garage a tool shed and then slapping it up against the house.
In what context, like from a tax perspective? Or?
No, from like a building code zoning perspective. That's where we're running into that's where we've run into the issue a couple of times now.
So if I buy a shed that's say 10 by 20,
Yep.
or 15 by 30,
Yep.
I can't put a car in it?
Nope. Not if you classify it as a tool shed, because a tool shed's going to have a different code that it has to meet, right? As far as your electrical and all the rest of the stuff you're going to put in there. So we're trying to make sure that.
What if
doesn't
it's just cold storage? What if there is no electricity in there?
Okay.
Just get it out of the weather. I'm not just trying to understand why we would care.
Why we would care?
Yeah. Why do we care if somebody buys a big shed and they can fit a car in there or not? Like, what do we care?
Yeah.
I don't.
Could be that people are
Public
taking
safety,
advantage
right?
of it.
It's right. It's safety stuff, but it also doesn't it trigger different zoning setbacks. A shed is different than a garage.
It's a structure. I don't know. I don't. We have each zone has setbacks, right? For
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. I just don't know why we're going there. I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't.
Or like what triggered?
I'm not doing that, but I'm just saying.
No, I hear you. Yeah. I mean, this is, yes. It's a good question.
Just.
I will spend some more time with the planning department. And
That's who's driving this, or
the planning board. Yeah.
they shouldn't care if somebody's putting a car in a shed, or if it's a motorcycle, or if it's
Well, I think we should
go.
I think before we say they shouldn't care, we should get the facts and go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
So, which I'll do. I'll put that together and I'll send that out, and we can make that a memo on the website and explain why we're doing that. Do you have the planning board's rationale letter?
Yes, I can pull it up. I'll have to take that down.
Okay. No, don't worry about it. We'll do it later.
Yeah, we don't have to do it now, but I just.
Sorry, I just interject. Like, you'd almost understand if I'm putting the shed, I'm like attaching it to my house, kind of, right?
Mhm.
Versus a shed that's way out. It's
Way on the back.
Card, whatever.
Yep.
But
I'll
anyways.
give you the specifics of what led to this.
Yeah.
Take it down, Will. You're killing me here.
You had one more point. I didn't know if you were going to talk about the fitness board.
It's something positive.
Okay, go back, Will.
I could speak to it. The
I do more. I know more about this than the shed problem.
exercise equipment fitness court is coming in.
Yep, it's been shipped. It's due tomorrow. And so right after town meeting, we will put out our documentation for what we need as far as the concrete pad goes. We did get the specs for that last week. And yeah, we had I think a very productive meeting with our construction coordinator. And yeah, we're looking forward to getting started. So
Exciting.
it is exciting. It's going to be a neat project, something I'm very much looking forward to. So yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Is that it for you?
I hope so.
Well, I just wanted you to maybe highlight just a little bit more, because I
have one other thing.
I read today, well, I knew that the House had approved the increase to 150 per pupil, and the Senate seems to be leaning that way, and you've kind of glossed over it a little bit, but just maybe to let folks know that that is an impact. So again, talking about budget and timelines for budget, we're getting more information like today.
Right, and so we decided. So Chapter 70 is now up to, as you said, $150 per student. That winds up being about $273,000 in increased revenue to the town of Grafton, which is why we are going to do that amendment at town meeting to make sure that that money goes to the schools. We are also pretty confident that when you see the legislature, both the House and the Senate, peg a number, it generally does not go back down to the governor's number. It really hasn't in as long as I've been watching the budget process, which is a long time now. So what the conversation that we're having is we're going to change the budget to accept the additional revenue and be a little tentative as we finalize our plans coming into June, July. I mean, we have a bite of the apple in May, and the legislature and the governor do it later. So we have to take a little bit on faith. And then obviously if the money doesn't materialize, then you can't spend that money, and we're going to have to figure it out. But we want to make sure that it's available to the schools as long as it comes through. So that's a really good that's really good news for the town of Grafton. So, and the state, really, every town. I did want to do one other thing, and I forgot to make a slide for this, but I did want to highlight a couple of staff members that I thought did some great work. So we have Christine Achu from our treasurer's office and Cindy Ide from our office. They were working with a senior who had misplaced a check and was very stressed and really going through it. And they ended up in our office, and Cindy, did the great job that she always does and helped calm the lady down, and called down to the treasurer collector's office, who then left that office, came into our office and went through all of it and tried to really put nerves at ease and get them through the process. And it was really nice to see. It was very compassionate customer service, which is what we strive for here. And just really very, I mean, it was a long conversation. It's probably 15 to 20 minutes of working through this. And, but I was really happy to see it, and I really appreciate the work that they put in, both Christine and Cindy, to make sure that the customer is heard, and we help them try to solve whatever we can. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention a resident. So her name is Helen Campanelli, and she's also a local to the municipal center. We see her quite a bit, but she does roadside cleanup outside of any organized program, and she's been doing it for a very long time. And I wasn't really, I know Helen, but I didn't know that this was kind of her thing. And then I was over by Discern, and she was on the side of the road with a orange vest on, picking up trash, and she's, according to Cindy, been doing it for a long time. And she'll be out there all year, and I think that's really cool. So I mean, I would like to maybe see if the board would like to do something to recognize her. I don't know if she'd be willing to do that, or if we can just do something quieter. But I just think that's a really cool thing. She's been doing it for a long time, and just there's not a lot of people like that. There's a lot of people that do cleanup days, and those are awesome and wonderful things and wonderful people. But to do it just kind of on your own all year is pretty cool.
I've seen her on my road probably 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And, I've lived there a long time, but yeah, she's out there.
Getting it done.
Yep.
Maybe a town meeting citation, presentation.
Something.
We want to do a day
Yeah.
for her.
We do a proclamation where we name a day after a person.
That'd be great.
Could do that, if that strikes
absolutely.
everybody's fancy.
That's a great idea.
Okay, great.
Sure.
We will start working on that. Thank
Great.
you.
Anything else?
Write that down. I got you. Thank you.
All set?
No, I think I'm done.
Okay. Does anyone have anything from the correspondence that they want to bring up? Where there are no resignations, any public comments here in the room or at home? Nobody left on Zoom?
No public comment.
Okay, then we have a couple of meeting minutes from January the 7th and January the 21st.
Yep, Madam Chair.
Mr. Alamo?
I move the board vote to approve the meeting minutes for January 7th and January 21st of 2025 as written.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The motion carries 5-0. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved, adjourn.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And we are adjourned.
All right.